September. If the sky's the limit, then you're the man, Matthieu. You're going to the Olympics, and you're bound to make an impression for Canada. Back at Humber College in the West End of Toronto as Matthieu Turgeon tries to win the one thing he has not, a Canadian championship. Hello everyone, and welcome to our coverage on CBC Sports Saturday of the National Trampoline and Tumbling Championship. Scott Russell is always joined by Carol Angela Orchard. Matthieu Turgeon is 20 years old. He's a firecracker. He's going to the Olympic Games, but now today at the National Championships, some unfinished business.
Matthieu is on fire right now. Just watching him walk around in the warm-up during training sessions, he is absolutely electric. He is so proud to be an Olympian. You can see it in everything that he does right now. But you are right, he has never won the Canadian title, but there's a very good reason for that. We are so rich in talent on the men's side. Snape, Mitruk, Brock, any one of them could win today. So for Matthieu Turgeon to do it, he's going to have to perform like an Olympian. The good news is, I think he's ready to do exactly that.
No question, Matthieu Turgeon is the favorite here today. He's coached by Dave Ross of Skyriders, and Dave says when he and Matthieu get to the Olympic Games, they'll be all business.
Our intention is to go there, go to the opening ceremonies kind of as tourists, then we'll have about 7 days to train on site in a different training venue and see what the rest of the world's doing and show off a bit. But basically, we're there to do a job, so we're not planning to watch too many other events or anything until after they're finished competing.
Matthieu Turgeon is one of only 200 athletes here. 7 provinces are represented, Carol Angela. And what does that say about the growing nature of this sport?
It is definitely growing. The new Olympic status has changed everything. You can see it in the eyes of the youngest athletes of all. They are watching Karen Cockburn. They are watching Matthieu Turgeon. The Olympic dream is suddenly a reality.
It's one of only 4 disciplines at these national championships. Trampoline is the only one to go Olympic, so to speak. Mini tramp is one that will feature, and there on double mini tramp, Cris has been an unsung hero of the sport.
It is hard to believe that the best athlete in the entire world, Cris Mitruk, is not going to the Olympic Games. But as you stated, Scott, only individual trampoline will be in Sydney. Double mini tramp will not be. So although he's got all the right moves, unbelievable tricks, he'll be sitting at home watching the Olympic coverage on TV, cheering on his friend and teammate, Matthieu Turgeon. Rounding
out the program today is power tumbling. You know all about that from the sport of gymnastics. This is a very explosive discipline. I wonder what kind of strength these guys could be expected to generate today.
Well, I'm just telling you this, don't blink. It is so fast, so explosive, so powerful. They're going to stand at the end of that tumbling strip and just like a bullet, fire 8 unbelievable skills straight down that white line. It's going to be exciting.
Looking forward to the power tumbling event here at the National Championships, but our show begins with this. We start with a synchro event, very complicated. Tumbling is next. Cris Mitruk featured in the double mini tramp, and our marquee is the men's individual trampoline. There's Matthieu Turgeon. He'll team with Ben Snape next as the National Championships resume on CBC Sports Saturday.
When you wake up, you will believe the following. I like football. I like watching football on television. I can't get enough football.
The comfortable Accord sedan from Honda. It's one powerful car.
This is Mark. This is Mark's Zantac 75. Mark didn't take his Zantac 75, and his food is coming back to haunt him. When your food comes back to haunt you, take Zantac 75. Its medicine is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. Zantac 75.
Timbits. Mind if I have one?
No, not at all.
All right. Chocolate.
Aren't you gonna have anything? No, they're not mine.
Hey, who ate my Timbits?
Pick up your own snack pack for $1.99.
E² from Energizer, a whole new battery with a heart of titanium that lets you take power to the next level. E².
Family. That's what Wade Baker's winning coin design is all about. Collect a new 25-cent Millennium coin each month and celebrate a future full of promise.
It's the Democrats' turn to take over the U.S. media spotlight as they stage their convention in California. Full coverage with David Halton next week on The National.
That's the Gordon Ragg Athletic Center at Toronto's Humber College. We're just about set for the Synchro Tramp final as far as the men are concerned. Ontario represented by Ben Snape on the left and his partner Matthieu Turgeon. They're in sync, and as Snape says, it's hard not to be when you're working with the likes of the man bound for the Olympic Games.
Like I feed off, you know, the fact that I have a strong partner, and I know he feeds off of like my energy coming in as well. So. We usually jump well because we jump at the same height. For the most part, we have the same tricks, and we're decently clean, I guess you could say, on the world circuit. And you know, we're not the top team yet, but we're definitely working towards it. So.
Yeah, close, but not quite there. Veterans Cris Mitruk and Jeremy Brock lead after preliminaries. Turgeon and Snape second by just over 2 points. Mike McLennan and Marty Myers are third by quite a margin. Currently in third place, McLennan and Myers from Ontario, and they line it up.
Scott, it's obvious by their score, they struggled in prelims. The hardest part is actually the initiation of the bounce. They've got to synchronize this. There's the clap. They'll go on 3. Oh, no, they said no, not ready.
1, 2.
There it is. They do have a full minute to start the routine, and the judges time that. Not struggling in finals. Got through all 10 elements.
And pretty well right on it. Mike McLennan and Marty Myers of Ontario finished up at the same time. Had a decent routine to finish this off.
Perfectly synchronized bounce. It's unfortunate they didn't do it in prelims. Staying well within the center of the trampoline. A little trouble with travel. Gets it right back on track for the full straight for the big finish.
And a big score for them in the final, 44-9. They came in here with 41 points, which was well back of the other two pairs. Now, Turgeon and Snape have to be pretty good in order to catch Mitruk and Jeremy Brock. But remember, Matthieu Turgeon is the Canadian Olympian in the individual tramp event, and he's got a good partner in 21-year-old Ben Snape of Pickering, Ontario.
Lots of experience, a ton of talent between the two of them. There's the clap.
1, 2.
They're ready to go. No indecision there. Now you can already notice a substantial difference between the first pair with Ben Snape and Matthieu Turgeon. Look at the height, these two. Fly through the air. They got into a little trouble at the beginning, but they know how to pull it out when it counts.
Finished up very nicely. This duo, the Canadian champions from a year ago.
There's the Triffus pike. Half in, Rudy out pike. Rudy out pike, a little bend of the knees on the half pike. That'll cost them. but they know how to get it right back on track.
This is half track going out. Football is like,
They talk it over there. Their score, 46-30 for Turgeon and Snape of Ontario, and they are trying to catch this pair, Cris Mitruk and Jeremy Brock. Brock from British Columbia, Mitruk from Burlington, Ontario. What an accomplished athlete Cris Mitruk is. World champion in the double mini tramp, but also deadly here.
This has become an incredible competition. There is so much talent on the men's side.
One.
Looked a little off on the bounce, but they're going on 3 anyway. They're going for it. Tremendous height, just like Snape and Turgeon. And they saved the biggest trick for last as well. It's a Miller. Watch for it. Oh! Cris killed his bounce. Jeremy had so much power, he had to do an out bounce. Now you have the choice, either kill it or do an out bounce, but you have to pick one. These guys are incredible. This routine is absolutely jam-packed. Watch for the Miller. 3 twists, 2 flips. There's Jeremy sky high on that out bounce. That will cost them 2 tenths.
Turgeon and Snape were 46-30. Mitruk and Brock 45-60. They had a 2-point bulge coming in, so that's enough. The standings do not change in the final. Cris Mitruk and Jeremy Brock are the Canadian champions, followed by 2 all-Ontario duos. And here's Carol Angela with the victors of this event.
After the first event of the day, it's Cris Mitruk and Jeremy Brock, the new synchro champions. Gentlemen, how did it feel?
Oh, it felt great. It was a really good competition. Everybody did their routines, and it felt really, really good.
Now, the judges obviously loved it, but there seemed to be an out bounce there. Jeremy, was that planned?
No, it wasn't really planned. We had planned to do a kill bounce, but I just had so much power going into the last kill that I just couldn't suck it up and finish it, so I had to out bounce a little bit.
Now, this is truly a cross-the-country effort. You're training in Ontario, you're training in BC. How do you make that work?
That's kind of interesting. We actually didn't know that we were going to be doing synchro together at this meet. My normal synchro partner, who I competed at World Championships with, Michelle Green, couldn't attend this national championship, so me and Jeremy decided to do it, and it just worked out great, and we're thrilled.
Now, Jeremy, that must be a lot of pressure on you. Michael Green's not here. You had to come in for it. How do you pull a routine together at the very last minute?
Well, it's Michelle Green's, that's some pretty big shoes to fill for me, but Cris is a great synchro partner, and I think we've both been training really hard, so it just kind of all fell into place, and it was like we'd been training for months.
That's exactly how it looked. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Ontario and BC in on the synchro win. Next, it's on to tumbling and Alberta boys. Cole Roycroft and Matt Dial as CBC Sports Saturday continues.
The Road to Excellence, presented by the Dairy Farmers of Canada, Royal Bank Financial Group, and the Government of Canada. Mylène Cloutier began playing badminton at age 9. Now teamed with Robin Hermitage in doubles competition, this explosive duo won a gold medal at the last Pan American Games and also made the finals at the 1998 U.S. Open. Cloutier's goal for Sydney is to place in the top 16. The Road to Excellence, recognizing Canada's amateur athletes.
Here we go again. It's not gonna happen. No. Look, there's no way I'm taking 12 cows to Sydney, Australia.
The Dairy Farmers of Canada, really, really proud sponsors of the Canadian Olympic team.
Now, has everybody gone to the bathroom?
Sunday night at 6 on CBC. Aliens, mobsters, kung fu masters.
I can't reach the deactivate button. Uh-oh.
Life is one endless adventure.
My inventions are good. I just have to work the bugs out.
On Honey, I Trust the Kids. Then at 7 on The Secret Adventures of Jules Verne. Brace yourself for the ultimate battle.
Future is mine.
Against the darkest forces of evil.
The future will never be yours.
It all begins Sunday at 6 on CBC Television.
Introducing the Kia Sportage.
Swamp tours.
Sounds like fun.
Welcome to the swamp.
Hey! That got your mojo going, huh? We're looking for that big bad alligator right now. Propagator, where you at, baby? Here's a shortcut. Who needs road? Tastes just like chicken. Hello there, what y'all doing?
Hey! Try it, honey.
The Kia Sportage. It'll get your mojo going.
We're watching as Dave Thomas tries to top a Wendy's whole marinated chicken breast fillet.
Yes, and that's no easy task. After all, it's all white meat, lightly seasoned, cooked to a golden brown.
He's picked a cheese.
Looks like processed mozzarella.
The crowd sure seems to like it.
Now he's picking the sauce.
Creamy Parmesan.
And there you have it. Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme.
Great sandwich, Dave.
I couldn't have done it without the chicken.
And remember, Wendy's pickup windows open late, so you can eat great.
Thanks for stopping.
Even late.
The race begins in the mind. 1,000,000 times rehearsed. What has been and what lies ahead. And when the games begin, CBC will be there. Its renowned broadcast team will deliver 300 hours of live coverage. The 2000 Olympic Summer Games in Sydney, Australia. CBC, Canada's Olympic Network. Sponsored in part by UPS.
Welcome back to the National Trampoline and Tumbling Championships from Humber College in Toronto. On to tumbling in the men's power event. Albertans 1-2 after preliminary passes. Cole Roycroft and Matt Dial well ahead of the rest of the field. And you will see some big tricks in this event. There's the rest of the pack. Alberta, Saskatchewan, Quebec all represented. First up and in 10th position, Scott Fischer of British Columbia.
Once the judges signal him to begin, he has 20 seconds to initiate the first element. A fairly decent pass, but unfortunately he steps beyond the yellow landing zone. That is a 4/10 deduction. Whip back, whip, back handspring, whip. You can see the knees a little bit soft through the pass and definitely there in the double layout.
Well, Scott will be hard-pressed to move up after this result, 20-93. David Poirier of Quebec in 9th position is next. This sport dominated by Albertans, strong center of excellence in Red Deer.
Excellent linking skill. David is showing an international trend in the middle of the pass, but that is not a planned landing. That's tough. His feet got caught in that red mat. The linking skill in the center of the pass was excellent, but look, feet get caught in the red sting mat. It's there for safety, for a softer landing, but I don't think he needed it.
22-5 the score for Poirier of Quebec. And from Saskatchewan, Brett Overton. 8th position is where he is now.
These passes go so fast. Total concentration is required, and they get one shot at it. Good power. Now, no big linking skill in the middle of the pass, but the judges are going to like the finish.
Well, great speed and power from Brett Overton.
Excellent execution. Straight arms, straight legs. Every time he makes impact. Double tuck, full out. That's impressive.
22-20 is the score for Brett Overton. Although it was quite flashy, the degree of difficulty was not as high as some of the other competitors in the field. Currently in 7th position from Ontario, Ryan Webb.
Now he's planning a linking skill. There it is, full in, back out. The judges like that because it's so tough to tumble out of it, to regain your momentum and hit the big dismount. Now the double pike was a little low, but this is a beauty. Full twisting double back. The double pike, the dismount skill right there should be above shoulder height.
Well, an amazed Ryan Webb, and there's his score, 22-33. Right now we move on to some of the stronger competitors from Alberta, in particular Red Deer, 20-year-old Chris Johnston. He's in 6th position now. He was 3rd at last year's championships.
And now we're going to start to see the degree of difficulty skyrocket. Nice double layout. Keeps the momentum going right through to a second double layout.
Cris Johnston of Red Deer, Alberta, 23-27. Well, that's an Albertan. Right now, let's check in with an ambitious Ontarian, Danny Lajoie of Windsor.
I'm not here to compete, really. I mean, I'm here to, you know, have fun, and I'm an entertainer. You know what I mean? I don't compete for the medals. I don't compete for positions. I mean, I'd like to, you know, but I like showing off what I can do and pretty much scaring the Alberta guys, because they, you know, I came out of the woodwork and all of a sudden they're like, oh, who's this Ontario kid? So that I get a kick out of that, you know.
Well, he's 20 years old, from the Rose City Gymnastics Club in Windsor, Ontario. Finds himself in 5th position. Interesting to note, he's an entertainer by his own admission.
Excellent basics. He was developed by Carrie Vigneault at the Rose City Gym Club. Huge double layout. Really pushing to get the final skill, a double twisting, double tuck. Tons of air time. Now it is beautiful, but the trick is to generate backward momentum to get this element done. 2 twists and 2 flips.
Strong gymnastics background and a strong degree of difficulty, 8.6, the result of 25.6 for Danny Lajoie of Windsor. Another Ontarian, Steve Whiteside, 4th position.
Good consistency in tempo and rhythm. Degree of difficulty is going to be substantially lower. Simple elements, whip, whip, back handspring, whip, back handspring. You can see his knees a little soft. Heads into a double pike. It appeared to be lower than shoulder height.
If you don't have the big tricks, you don't get the big score. 21-7 for Steve Whiteside of Ontario. Moving on up the field in 3rd position currently, Ryan Lyons, another Ontarian.
Ryan was also developed by Carrie Vigneault, now coached by Mike Outram. Beautiful double layout, has to keep pushing. Oh, did not want to be there. It is so difficult to tumble out of the double layout. You have to keep stretching backwards. You can see his knees get a little soft here. The double tuck would have been fine, but that's an impossible place to land.
23-10 for Ryan Lyons of Ontario. And now to the top 2. They are way out in front of this field. First up is 18-year-old Matt Dial of Red Deer, Alberta.
On fire during prelims, set the Canadian degree of difficulty record. Oh, the tricks don't get any bigger, but he is in trouble. I cannot believe he went for that. Well, Scott, they say no guts, no glory. He has plenty of guts. Watch this incredible double twisting, double layout. So high, can't get out of it. Look at the knees buckling. Instead of doing a very simple element, he throws 2 twists, 2 flips with 0 airtime.
7th at last year's national championships. This'll hurt. 19-3-3 for Matt Dial of Red Deer. That's his coach, Keith McDonald, right there. And now Cole Roycroft of Alberta. He's the leader, 16 years old, one of the younger competitors in the field. Competes for the University of Calgary Gymnastics Club, coached by Derek Hansen.
And in prelims, set the Canadian record for the highest score in a single pass. Great double layout. Getting caught up a little bit. Oh. Yes, disappointment. He is capable of so much more. The double layout looks good. So does the whip. But watch his knees right there. They buckle. Cannot initiate the vertical height he requires. And the full twisting double back is down.
Trouble for the Canadian champion, but avoided. 19.27 is enough for 16-year-old Cole Roycraft. So he hangs on. His teammate Matt Dial of Red Deer is second. Danny Lajoie of Windsor, Ontario finishes third. The rest of the field, as you see, Carol Angela is with the victorious Albertan Cole Roycraft.
Cole, you are the Canadian champion, but I'm sure that is not the performance you were hoping for.
No, I was hoping at least land on my feet at least, but came out of the double layout. I buckled my knees and couldn't get the speed to do the dismount and didn't make it around.
How were you feeling right before you went? Matt seemed to have the same problem you did. Did that go through your mind? Did that have any impact on your performance?
Actually, I didn't find out how Matt did until I got back after my turn, but before I went, I was really pumped. Thought I was going to do good. I felt prepared, but I guess just one of those things that happens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up next, Chris Mitruk in a class by himself, world class, as the National Trampoline and Tumbling Championships continue.
It's your breakfast table. It's your car. Take it to Midas for a free oil change when you purchase lifetime Midas brakes. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Keep a good thing going. Go Midas.
Coast is clear. Okay. It's his turn. I know. Come on. Come on. Go ring it. Don't be a chicken. Go. Perfect. Come on. Ring it. Don't be a chicken. Ring it. Do it, man. Do it. Ring it. Go. Go on. Fuck this thing, yeah.
Timbits. Mind if I have one?
No, not at all.
All right. Chocolate.
Aren't you gonna have any? No, they're not mine.
Hey, who ate my Timbits?
Pick up your own snack pack for $1.99.
It's your breakfast table. It's your car. Take it to Midas for a free oil change when you purchase lifetime Midas brakes. Guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Keep a good thing going. Go Midas.
Hello, it's Patrick. He took out life insurance.
Your mother and I just took out life insurance from Norwich Union. Have you thought about it?
Dad, I'm only 40.
Norwich Union has a plan for people as young as 40. Besides, you have one good reason right over there. Take a look.
Norwich Union is pleased to bring you Guaranteed Life Plus, affordable life insurance for people 40 to 75. Your acceptance is guaranteed. You're under no obligation, and no salesperson will visit. Call now for your free information kit. Premiums start from as low as $9.95 a month, no matter how old you are, and they'll never increase. Guaranteed. So call now. You'll enjoy coverage up to $25,000, depending on your age and the premium you choose. In case of accidental death, your beneficiary receives 5 times your coverage, up to $125,000.
Thanks, Dad. I'm going to call Norwich Union now.
Call toll-free, 1-877-789-1589, extension 209.
You're right, Dad. It's never too soon to plan ahead.
Next Saturday, getting on a roll in England, the top bowlers step up to the line at the World 10-Pin Masters. The Royal Bank Financial Group Athletic Series flows on in Zurich, with the Olympics approaching fast. The pace will be quick in the whitewaters of Germany for the World Cup Kayak Slalom Final. And the Blue Jays try to stay in the race, hoping to pound the Twins as they visit Toronto. Next Saturday.
Welcome back to our coverage of the National Championships. Chris Mitruk of Burlington, Ontario, world champion in the double mini tramp in his own estimation. Here's why.
Well, it's a combination of things. Some would say it's because I was a gymnast before, so I've got a good run, and a run's very important for this event. Also, very fast twitch, motor skills, good coordination. It's a very fast event, fast, powerful event. And also the landings really separate athletes. I can stick the landings quite well, so I'm always going for stuck passes as well. I'm not very happy when I have to take a step, but it happens.
After preliminaries, the expected has taken place. Mitruk way out in first. Many provinces are represented here. Strangely, Jeremy Brock of Coquitlam, BC, a perennial contender, is way down in 10th spot now. And here is 26-year-old Jeremy Brock. 5.03 on the first pass.
And unfortunately, the prelim score is added to the final score, so he is out here for personal pride. And looking very proud indeed. Phenomenal pass. Big degree of difficulty, 2.5. Take a look. Watch the second skill. Full twist on the first salto, 2 twists on the second. That's a tuck Miller.
Yeah. And on the second pass, he repeats with a 5.03.
Just did it for me.
Just did it for me, he said. And as you said, Carol Angela, competing for pride. One of the great competitors, Jeremy Brock. Dave Parke of Ontario, 4.3 his first time around.
And lots of potential. Already showing big tricks. Now the tricks were impressive, but I think his foot, and I think he's reviewing it in his mind right now, landed on the first bed. Let's take a look. He has to be beyond that red line, and the toes are on the first bed. Scott, the judges are going to have to give him a 0. It's a safety rule. The first element must land on the second bed.
And there's the bad news for Dave Parke of Ontario. Makes the mistake with his footing, nothing across on that pass. Another Ontarian, Mike McLennan. We saw him in the synchro tramp. He was 3rd in that event.
Safety is certainly emphasized in this sport. The judges are looking for good form, good height, and control. There's the Branny tuck. Half in, half out tuck.
Ontario's Mike McLennan in one more look.
Shows good control. Now watch the landing. The judges want to see stability. It must be held for 3 seconds.
4.17, the result on his second pass here in the double mini tramp. And here is a transition that is not often made at the National Trampoline and Tumbling Championships. We saw Scott Fischer of British Columbia on a tumbling run. Now Scott in the double mini tramp.
Now these athletes do use trampoline to develop their tumbling skills, and he's doing both quite nicely. Needs to work a little bit more on his form, but the tricks are certainly there. Here's the Rudy, out tuck, but watch the knees in the double pike, slightly bent. The judges will be deducting 2/10 for that.
Highest score we've seen so far in this double mini tramp final, 5.43 for Scott Fischer of British Columbia. Back to Ontario and Kevin Perkins. Scored a 0 in his first pass, so had trouble with his footing, as did Dave Parke, his provincial teammate.
Now there's his father standing in, and with good reason. Bill Perkins is holding that spotter mat just in case Kevin needed it, but he is completely off today. You can see no chance to hit the second skill. So much precision is required for double mini tramp.
And again, a score of 0 for Kevin Perkins of Ontario. Back to British Columbia, and the competitor here is Ryan Ward. 4.83 on his first pass.
Another young contender with huge potential. Full in, half out straight, full out straight. Oh, incredibly done, simply too long. There'll be a .3 landing because he had both feet outside the landing zone. But take a look. Full in, half out straight, full out straight. Beautiful, clean line. He needs more vertical lift to nail it down.
Still, the scores are moving up. 5-3 is the result for Ryan Ward on the second pass in the double mini tramp. And here is Marty Myers, a young competitor from Ontario, teamed with Michael McLennan to win the bronze medal in the synchro tramp earlier in the show.
The run is so important. It's carefully measured, practiced several times. Full in, half out tuck. Half in, half out tuck. That's the landing the judges are looking for, and Bill Perkins is delighted.
Yeah, he looked right over once it was done.
Good clean form in the air. The knees and feet are together, but watch the landing. Really bends those legs, uses them as shock absorbers.
Hangs on, 5-1-7 for Ontario's Marty Myers. And now a competitor from Quebec, Olivier Lemieux. First pass score of 0. Couldn't get that second skill in.
Once these athletes receive a 0 on the first pass, the second pass is purely for experience. Making good use of it. Full in, half out tuck on the first element, back in, full out on the second. Good clean line. The judges are going to like the knees together. Back in, full out tuck looks good. Going to be losing 3/10, and you can see his frustration.
4.63 for Olivier Lemieux, much better than the first pass. He scored 0. From British Columbia, Shawn Holloway, 4.9 on his first pass. So therefore has a chance to move up, or does he, because he's facing Cris Mitruk, who has a big lead in this discipline.
Oh, lovely kick, open. He likes it, everyone would.
Holloway of BC nails one here.
First skill is beautiful, tuck Rudy out. But watch this, from the double salto, kicks it open, flies with the greatest of ease to a perfect landing.
5-5 for Shawn Holloway as he does his job in order to challenge Cris Mitruk. And there is the 26-year-old from Burlington, Ontario, already has a gold medal in the synchro tramp with Jeremy Brock. Now he's the world champion, and he set a world difficulty record in South Africa.
And I love his modesty. He was talking about his personal qualities. He didn't mention being bionic, and most of us believe that he is. Oh, absolutely incredible. If double mini tramp was an Olympic event, you would be looking at the Olympic champion. Full Rudy straight, absolutely perfect form, full straight. No one does it better in the entire world. Great overhead shot. You can see he's dead center in the dismount bed. That gives him that great lift.
5.63 his first pass. Look at this, 6.77 for Cris Mitruk, the world champion. So there's no doubt here. Look at the margin of victory for Cris Mitruk, BC's Shawn Holloway, and then Ryan Ward, second and third respectively. Jeremy Brock moves up to 6, but Carol Angelis with the world champion who's won another Canadian title.
And absolutely no surprise at all. The Canadian champion, Cris Mitruk, title number 6. How did this one feel?
Well, it's just a different year, and the caliber of the competition has gone way up. We've got a lot of athletes now doing some very big passes. It'll be exciting for the next World Championships, and we'll just go from here.
Do you feel extra pressure when you're out there? Everyone's looking at you. You are the world champion. How does that impact your performance?
It doesn't really. You have to concentrate, and you kind of tune that stuff out. It's nice at an event of this size, because you do notice all of the energy that they're putting into the building, and you take that in and you can use that.
One event to go, individual trampoline. Any predictions?
Well, I'm just going to try and do my routine as best I can. I feel good, and hopefully everybody will hit their routines. We'll put on a good show.
All the best.
Thank you very much.
And he'll meet Matthieu Turgeon, who's bound for the Olympics. The trampoline is next when CBC Sports Saturday returns.
The Road to Excellence, presented by the Dairy Farmers of Canada, Royal Bank Financial Group, and the Government of Canada. She's only 18, but Emily Haymans has already landed a place on Canada's diving team. Her 5 national titles and gold medal at the last Pan American Games indicate maybe the best is yet to come for this talented young diver. Haymans' goal for the Summer Games in Sydney, top 8. The Road to Excellence, recognizing Canada's amateur athletes.
Here we go again. It's not gonna happen. No. Look, there's no way I'm taking 12 cows to Sydney, Australia.
The Dairy Farmers of Canada, really, really proud sponsors of the Canadian Olympic team.
Now, has everybody gone to the bathroom?
It's the longest recreational trail in the world. So it's not surprising that the world's original sport utility vehicle was the one chosen to open it up. After all, if you were building a trail linking Canada from coast to coast to coast, what would you choose?
Winning coin design is all about. Collect a new 25-cent Millennium coin each month and celebrate a future full of promise.
We're watching as Dave Thomas tries to top a Wendy's seasoned whole chicken breast fillet.
He's picked a cheese.
Looks like processed mozzarella.
Now he's picking a sauce.
Creamy Parmesan.
And there you have it. Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme.
I couldn't have done it without the chicken.
On September 15th, the world's eyes will focus on one place, a place whose time has come to set the world aglow. The 2000 Olympic Summer Games on CBC, Canada's Olympic network.
Jays and Twins, tonight, 7 Eastern on Labatt Blue Jays Baseball on CBC.
Coming up later, Percy Williams and the Matchless Six on the Olympians. And World Cup rowing from Switzerland. Olympic athletes, past and present, still ahead.
Welcome back to the final event at the National Trampoline and Tumbling Championships. That's Matthieu Turgeon, who has a chance to win his first Canadian title. But Sydney and the Olympics are always on his mind.
A lot. Let me tell you, a lot. It's always like, almost every waking moment. It's like, man, I'm going to the Olympics. It's scary. And it's like, me. Like I say, you'd always watch it on television. It's like, whoa, these guys are Olympians. Whoa, that guy's awesome. That would be so cool to be an Olympian. Like, yeah, you'd always watch it on TV. It's just like, and it'd be great. I'd watch the Olympics all the time on TV. I'm sure like everyone had. I just love watching the Olympics. It's great. And then, but now I've had the opportunity to actually make it, qualify. I have. It's just like, whoa, I'm just overwhelmed, and it's just like, but it's also like a huge, like I just feel so privileged, because not many people get to go to the Olympics, and it's just, wow.
Wow, look at how close this is after preliminaries. Cris Mitruk and Matthieu Turgeon tied for the lead. Ben Snape not far back, all Ontarians, all on the trampoline. A high flying act as we get the lowdown from Carol-Angela Orchard.
Hey Scott, I was just thinking about all the attributes the Canadian champion in this sport would require. There are the usual physical skills, tremendous strength, flexibility, coordination, and agility, but I think it's going to take more than that to win here. There's that intangible, no guts, no glory attitude in this sport. Fear of heights? I don't think so. In this sport, every athlete has a touch of the wild side in them, and this is one apparatus that they use to hurl themselves to unimaginable heights. The secret is in the construction, and it differs significantly from the tramp you and I bounced on in high school phys ed class. The strings are very narrow, 3 millimeters, tight as a tennis racket. That allows the air to flow freely through the bed, giving it real dynamic action. But the secret is under the mat. The springs are very soft. That allows tremendous action, and world-class athletes know exactly how to manipulate that action to achieve heights up to 10 meters. Each routine has 10 elements, and the athletes are trying to show the highest degree of difficulty. For every additional twist and flip, the degree of difficulty increases, but so does the risk. So the athlete that will take home all the hardware will find the perfect balance between stability and risk.
All right, Carol-Angela, well, the athletes will let it all out on this, the final event of the Trampoline and Tumbling Championships. Start with 7th place holder Shawn Holloway of British Columbia.
And we're going to see a good performance from Shawn. Good, stable competitor. May not have the degree of difficulty the big guns do, like Mitruk and Turgeon. But stability is the key. And if you can stay on for all 10 tricks, oh, a little trouble there. He's gonna get a score.
Got through it, and he's relieved to do that. Shawn Holloway of British Columbia.
First half was brilliant. Pike Rudy out, double tuck, tuck Rudy out, double pike, pike half out, half in, half out tuck, tuck half out, half in, half out pike. Oh, a little trouble on that Brandy. Had to bend his knees, but got to the half in, Rudy out tuck.
Oh, well. And really pushed it there at the end to get through. 30.8 for Shawn Holloway. Now on to Mike McLennan of Ontario. Mentioned before that Mike teamed with Marty Myers to win a bronze medal in the synchro tramp. Now he's on his own.
You can see the spotters standing by the trampoline. They're on both sides for safety purposes. I love this overhead shot. It gives you such a perspective of how high they actually go. Looking down at that postage stamp size trampoline from that height. Now the athletes do submit the routine to the judges in advance. They can change a skill. They just can't repeat any of the elements. Beautiful stability, not traveling at all at this point. Excellent performance.
Well, for the most part, Mike stayed within that target area. Completed all 10 skills.
The first skill is a beauty. That's a Triffus tuck. That means he's going forward, flipping 3 times with a half out. Good clean style. The judges are looking for the knees glued together. Feet tightly tucked in. Big finish with the full straight.
Mike McLennan trying to move into the top 5. He was 6th coming into the final. 34-30 will help him out. Jeremy Brock in 5th position. He was 5th at the Canadian Championships in 1999 from Coquitlam, BC. Won the gold medal in the synchro tramp along with his partner, his new partner, Cris Mitruk.
The preliminary competition was not kind to Jeremy Brock. definitely struggled there, hoping not to here. Has a huge bounce, tons of air time. Pushing through. He's almost there. Oh, that was the 8th element. So it won't count at all. The judges won't even evaluate it. He's going to be frustrated by that because he looked so good for the first 3/4 of the routine.
Very good. Thank you. It did. It was.
The judges will only evaluate the first 7 elements,
Okay.
and that will just kill his degree of difficulty.
It's okay.
It's okay, says Jeremy Brock. Anything but the score is okay. 22-40 for this veteran and accomplished competitor from British Columbia. Carl Lecuyer now from Quebec finds himself in 4th position.
And it's not easy to follow a veteran like Jeremy Brock after he struggled. This is such a psychological event. You need to get those thoughts out of your head and focus on your job. Good air time. He has 1 minute to initiate the first skill. You can see his bounce is slightly off. Those arms should be synchronized, both doing exactly the same action. Oh, Scott, he's in trouble, trying to improvise with a jump full turn to keep it going. No such luck.
Well, Carl Lecuyer, the young competitor from Quebec, will barely record a score after getting very few tricks or elements into this routine.
And it's unfortunate. He looks quite stable at the start, but he is completely out of it. The Rudy out pike is strong, but the half, 1.5, he is in trouble.
And right off the trampoline, after sowing the seeds of a good final, not much to harvest for Carl Lecuyer of Quebec. 6.7 is all he gets for this final routine. Now to the big 3. From Ontario, Ben Snape. All of them are from Ontario, as a matter of fact. Comes in 3rd position, 21 years old, from Pickering, a member of the Sky Riders. He was 2nd in the synchro event with his partner, the Olympian Matthieu Turgeon.
And he has a very big start planned. Triffus pike. Watch for it. There'll be 3 front saltos, half out in the pike position. Beautifully done. Ben works so hard, tremendous effort. You can hear him exhale on every element.
Right off it.
Spotters are there. They broke his fall. He's saying right now, I punched myself in the head. That may be the extent of his injury.
Tell you what, though, the crowd held its breath here and was very quiet. But Ben Snape is all right.
I don't know what to say, Scott. Is there something in the air normally consistent in his performance? We've seen so many go right off and not able to finish their routines, and how unfortunate, because what a routine he has. Look at the spotters move right in, break his fall. The sides are matted, the floor is matted.
19.9, the result for Ben Snape. And now we go to Matthieu Turgeon, the Olympian, 19 years old, from Unionville, Ontario, 15th at the World Championships. Here's his coach, Dave Ross, on the prospects for Matthieu here.
Well, Matthieu's basically was our top Canadian at the last World Championships. This is why he managed to qualify for the Olympics. But he's relatively younger than most of the top guys. And he also holds the world record for the most difficult routine done in training. So he's basically very strong, energetic, and dedicated athlete who's accomplished a lot of great things, but he's relatively newer on the scene than some of the guys who are ranked in front of him right now.
Mentioned at the top of the show that the one thing that Matthieu lacks is a Canadian championship. He was third at last year's Nationals, but is right there with Cris Mitruk now.
And some people feel that, oh, Matthieu has no pressure. He's already qualified for the Olympic Games. Pressure, you bet pressure. When you're an Olympian, you want to look good every time you're in the air. And he wants this title. At a high degree of difficulty. It should be 14.2 if he does every element. He's thrown as high as 16 in training. He's the man. He's done it.
Really sticks that landing. And talk about pressure. That puts all kinds of pressure on Cris Mitruk. They were tied after the preliminary competition, but Matthieu Turgeon has nailed it.
We talked about a perfect balance between stability and risk. And that's what he has displayed here. As he hits the trampoline with every impact, he has a fairly wide stance. That gives him a larger base of support. And that dramatically increases his stability.
Exhales. 38.7 for Matthieu Turgeon as he searches for a Canadian championship. The only man who can prevent that is 26-year-old Cris Mitruk. And Cris won gold in the synchro event here. He also won gold in the double mini event. Needs anything now over a 38.7 to win a third gold medal at these championships.
If anyone can challenge Turgeon, it's Cris. Look at the height. Their routines are very similar. Both have sky-high difficulty. It's looking great. Oh, tucked his knees a little bit on the final element.
And that tuck could haunt Cris Mitruk here because Matthieu Turgeon has been very close to perfect.
Well, they both finished with exactly the same skill. A Miller, which is a triple twisting double layout. Watch for it toward the end of the routine. Gets into a little trouble. Remember, the judges are looking for a consistency in height. The height is starting to drop off. Right here, he's got to tuck his knees to be able to rotate and get it safely to his feet.
Well, what a great competitor, but not enough to catch Matthieu Turgeon. 37.10 for Mitruk. It's close, but Matthieu Turgeon has his first Canadian title on the strength of his performance in the Tramp final. Ontario takes 4 of the top 5 spots. BC and Quebec in places 6 to 9. Right now, here's Carol Angela Orchard with an Olympian and the new national champion.
Well, it was a battle right to the end, but you came out on top. How did it feel?
Well, I was pretty nervous when I got up, but I felt I was focused. I knew what I had to do, and been practicing a lot, so I guess it finally paid off. So.
Now, not many people know this, but you have never won this Canadian title before. You're an Olympian, but you have not yet had a Canadian title. This is the first. That must be satisfying.
Yeah, I've been second a whole bunch of times, never managed to grab the title, but finally, nice.
This must set you up very nicely heading into Sydney. What are your plans now?
Well, we've got 2 World Cups, end of June and beginning of July. We've got in Great Britain and Austria. So I think right now this is all part of a puzzle that's coming together, and it's looking good.
It's looking very good indeed. All the best in Sydney.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Matthieu Turgeon has the country by the tail today, soon to be the world as he prepares to debut the sport of trampoline at the Olympics in September. Finally, the Canadian championship he's been missing. This day belongs to Turgeon. Thanks for watching. For Carol Angela Orchard, I'm Scott Russell. So long from Humber College in Toronto.